Are we going to make it another year of it? You're literally looking at the exit. Hey guys, I'm Henry.
I'm India.
And we're just here to let you get to know us a little bit better, what we're here for. Hey guys, I'm Henry.
And I'm India, and this is our new YouTube channel. We both wanted to share a bit more about who we are since we're posting a bit more on social media. This felt like the right thing to do an introduction video, and just get to know us a bit more, because we both have really different stories and journeys, especially in the horse world. I
think basically just wanted to give you a bit of an insight into our day-to-day.
The best place to share it.
Yeah. So if you don't know, I'm a dressage rider. Have been a dressage rider for my whole adult life. And you have just started up again, haven't you, really?
Yeah, I picked the reins up about 2 years ago, which was after COVID, when I discovered dressage and fell in love with it. So I'm new on the whole journey, but you've helped me pretty much from the start.
Yeah, after the initial not letting me see you ride.
Yeah.
I don't know how long.
Yeah, I wouldn't let Henry watch me ride pretty much the beginning of our relationship, would I?
Yeah, but I think we thought there's quite a few interesting things going on that would be great to follow for any aspirational riders out there. Obviously we get to see my day-to-day doing things, but it's been a real eye-opener for me as well, kind of starting dressage again, if you like, with you.
Yeah.
And I think there's a few challenging elements to that, because obviously I'm your fiance in one breath, but also your trainer in the next, and that's something that we have to manage. It's not always the easiest, is it?
No.
Sometimes you like to ignore me completely.
No, that's not what happens.
No, you're pretty good.
Sometimes it's just knowing when to be the trainer and when to be the fiance.
Yeah.
When I need the stern voice and when I need the kind, loving voice.
Yeah. You will do that sitting trot.
You'll get it on the bit.
Yeah. Well, do you want to tell them how we met?
Well, we met on Instagram.
Romantic.
I had just bought a horse, my first horse, and I really had no clue who anyone was in the dressage industry apart from Carl and Charlotte. And Henry came on my explore page, riding a stallion at the time, and you had a funny caption, didn't you? And I commented laughing emojis. Had no idea who he was. Could have been foreign, could
That's
have
what
been
she
gay.
says.
No, genuinely, I thought he's foreign and he's gay.
Yeah.
That was just didn't think
common misconception.
And then you requested to follow me back, and then we followed each other, and then quickly learned he wasn't foreign or gay.
Thankfully.
Yeah. I was on holiday, wasn't I? And then we had our first date when I came back, and then it was pretty much every weekend.
So it was actually a little bit devastating on that first date when I realised she really didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
Such an ego dent, especially when she knew one of my best mates, Matt Frost, who is a fellow dressage rider. I'm sure most of you know that. But she knew who he was, and she didn't know who I was, which was...
But I only knew the name, not the face.
And that's another thing, actually, because you were living near Manchester, weren't you?
Yeah, so I'm originally from outside of Manchester, and you were Warwickshire at the time.
Yeah.
So we were long distance, so we had to do travelling every weekend, 2.5 hours on the motorway.
Yeah, saw way too much of that M6, really.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot, but it was just the weekends were really special, weren't they? Because it was something to look forward to.
Yeah. It was kind of snatched moments, though, and I think that was probably what accelerated our relationship, wasn't it? Because I think after a couple of months of that, we knew that really we had to make a decision, because you can't go on and on. Obviously I'm busy and you were busy, and it was something's got to give.
Yeah.
So I think it was probably October, November time 2 years ago, wasn't it? That I said, well, why don't you just move in? And I'd never for 1 minute thought she would just say yes, but she did.
Yes.
And and then you know, from there, I think that's when things really started to change with the riding, wasn't it? Because up until that
Not
point,
even there. I mean, if you ask me, I wouldn't say like. I mean, even a year, or not even a year, like 6 months from now, to me, if I watch videos of my riding, I've progressed so much then. I can't watch videos of me riding from 2 years ago or a year ago.
But that was when we started our like proper journey. I kind of started helping Indy every day.
But to me, those videos are painful to watch.
But those videos are kind of the I think really relatable videos for a lot of people starting out. You know, you didn't have a clue. You were always a nice rider, like well balanced and things, but really as green as grass as far as understanding how to train your horse, because you had a young horse. Well, perhaps you still have her.
Yeah.
And I think progression when you first start out, like probably with any sport or skill-based activity, like when you first start out, the progression is slow. And you have to really put the hours in, and I think when you get that the basic level of understanding of how to do something, then you suddenly see really like quick spurts of improvement, and that's definitely what's happened this year.
Yeah, our journey is so unique in that you are this, you know, top dressage rider, trainer.
Sorry guys. Professional.
Grand Prix rider, and you've got me at the other end of the spectrum that's like still a beginner, you know, I'm starting right at the very bottom, but then in the same breath I've had a really good start because of you, and I think it's, I don't know, quite aspirational to people that. Because I was that person that when I bought my first horse, Babs, I dreamt of competing, but I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Like, sounded amazing, but, you know, in theory, when I lived up north, I didn't have access to trainers like you, facilities like we have now, like even down to the schools that you ride in, like it's just nothing like we've got access to here or have had in previous yards. But then obviously being with you and all the help you give me literally pretty much every day, and having that person holding your hand and being like, this is what you need to do or how to do it, and then I mean we've done it. You know,
well, and I think it helps. You know, obviously I've helped you, but you've helped me massively as well, because it's easy to kind of get a bit weary from compete. Anyone who works in the industry or knows someone that works in the industry, they know how hard this job is, and it takes its toll on you. And I think I worked out the other day that I've probably done 18 years consecutively of campaigning every season, you know, through Premier Leagues and everything. And you know, I will hold my hands up and admit, you know, there's definitely been times where I kind of take what I do for granted for a start, and possibly don't always enjoy it as much as I should because of pressures that I put on myself, and you know, how I perform, and you know, one bad test will sit with you for months and you forget all the good tests and all of that kind of thing. And I think having, like, sharing the journey with you now, like it gives me, I see everything through fresh eyes, and all of the little wins that we go through with you, I'm over the moon, you know, like the first time you get 70%, I'm elated, and I'm feeling all of this joy back from the sport that I've always loved and I've always been passionate about, but actually, like, I'm feeling it like it's the first time all over again, and it's definitely kind of like, I think we're reigniting that passion in me for the sport, but also igniting the passion in you. And I think I remember when we were training at, you know, where we first had Babs together, and people would come across and say like, oh God, when are you doing your first show? When are you doing your first show? Because she obviously looked really ready, you know, and she was ready, but I also knew, as Indy is such a perfectionist, I mean, like, you know, if it's not perfect, it's awful, it's crap, and she can't cope with it. But not only that, you were used to seeing only the best level of competition. You had just come to the Premier Leagues.
Yeah.
We hadn't been to normal shows, so everything she saw was kind of up here.
Advanced horses and advanced riders.
But in the same breath, I knew that when we went out, I wasn't rushing her to get out because I wanted her to go out and straight away have success, because I know, like riding, with any kind of riding, whether it's dressage, jumping, eventing, whatever you do, everything with horses is confidence based, and you'll only ever be as good as you feel. And if you get into your head, it can, certainly like a negative experience when you first start competing could have had a massive toll on you, especially because you are a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a conscious decision that we made to wait until you could do the test standing on your head, to allow for kind of like nerves or whatever. And you went out and smashed it.
Okay, so let's talk about our first date.
I think that's really quiet.
Let's tell them about Okay, so our first date.
Yeah. I've never been so nervous in all my life.
This is actually bringing back memories. I remember I was working, because I had 2 jobs at the time, and I had a message from you, and it was you saying, I don't feel well.
Yeah.
And I was like, here we go. He's gonna bail.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're fine.
I genuinely didn't feel well, but I mean, I was nervous as well, so I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
This is scary. She's so beautiful. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I can't cope with this. Maybe I should just swerve off.
Yeah, and you were actually, because I was from up north, you actually had a horse up north, didn't you?
Yeah.
That you were going to see before our date.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of how it was going to work out. And you messaged me to basically say you didn't feel well.
Well, I wasn't bailing out as such. I mean, I'd been to see the horse. I think I was probably a little bit hungover at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like on the way back, and I just thought, God, she's way out of my league. I should just, oh no, I feel sick. Or, all of those thoughts are just like whizzing through my head, and it was just like, I'll text her and just say I'm not feeling great, and then if she gives me an out, maybe I'll like rearrange or something. But you were just like,
I was like, no, you're gonna see me.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, if you don't do it now, you'll never get the opportunity to do it again. And I thought, oh Jesus, just like man up, come on, we can do this. Best foot forward.
Yeah. And so you came to Hale, didn't you? That's where we had our first meal.
I picked you up. I picked you up from your mum's.
And I just remember that, because I'd never seen him before in person. And I remember thinking, this man is so posh. Like, the way he talks, I was like, he's so posh, he's going to think I'm so northern. And I remember, the text when they're like, I'm outside.
I didn't say it in that voice.
And I was like, oh God, and like peering through the window, and then just like, when I saw you, and I was like, oh, thank God he's fit. And then
so
I was
she
like,
watched my videos. She knew that I was posh, but she didn't know I was fit. Well, anyway, she walked out in this little pink kind of like
number.
Yeah, little pink number.
Satin dress.
I was like, oh my God, I didn't know where to look. I was in bits, wasn't I? I think when we got out for our first date, I was shaking when I was driving, trying to act all cool, and then we got out, and the first thing I did was knock a drink over. Neither of us ate a bean, either did we? We just pushed our food around.
Played with our food.
Yeah.
My mum was obviously texting me, like kind of checking how the date was going, making sure I was safe. And she was down the road with her partner, wasn't she? And I was like, you should just like walk in and just pretend we bump into you.
After I've already knocked 3 drinks over, and I was like, oh my God, and now I'm meeting the mum.
Yeah. I mean, I really laid it on thick, didn't I? Like,
yeah.
Meet mum on the first date.
But it was good. We had such a laugh. We ended up going back to their apartment, didn't we?
Such a good time, yeah. And my mum obviously fell in love with him, which always helps.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a great first date, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Really
it was
good.
very memorable.
Yeah.
And the really lovely thing about that as well is every kind of occasion that we've celebrated since. We've always gone back to Victor's, haven't we, where we spent our first date. So
we had our engagement party there, didn't we?
Yeah.
Obviously there's the engagement, which I knew nothing about.
Oh, that was actually, to be fair, I mean, if the first date was nerve-wracking, the engagement was like nausea-inducing kind of levels of anxiety.
But also literally because we were so ill.
Oh God, yeah.
So ill. Like,
my brother had came the week before we went to Paris, so I'd arranged a trip to Paris. He came to help me at work and conveniently gave me COVID, which I didn't know really when we were travelling out. I was starting to feel not great. But by the time we got to Paris, I was ill, and I was having to really just, I don't know, I was digging deep to not just wuss out.
Yeah.
But kind of managed to, and you were okay for the first 2 days, weren't you?
And then it hit me like a ton of bricks.
So it was on a Tuesday we went out, and that was my proposal, and I'd initially kind of planned a proposal on a boat, like a boat cruise. I've never been on a boat cruise in Paris before, so I assumed like a boat cruise there would be like a bit on deck somewhere, kind of, you know, in the middle of Paris, lit up at night, that like you could be private and things. And I just thought, I knew that Indy wouldn't want a spectacular proposal in front of an audience, because I know her nature's just, that wouldn't be right. So I thought I'd better just ring the boat cruise company and check that there's somewhere kind of appropriate that's going to be private to do it. And the person I spoke to was really broken English, basically just was like, no. Everywhere public. So I was like, oh great. So the night before I was ringing around everywhere I could think of, trying to find somewhere that was beautiful but not public, and not knowing Paris at all was it was so hard, wasn't it?
It was. I can imagine.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, why is he always leaving the room?
Yeah, I was going down to reception, speaking to the concierge, oh God, help me out, what can I do? And in the end, I just, I found a really gorgeous roof bar. I can't remember what the hotel was called, can you?
I can't remember what it was.
But it was this,
but it overlooked the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, it was the most beautiful roof bar, and I was the whole evening I knew I was going to propose, but I was just I'll just wait for the right moment, find the right place.
Yeah.
And the first place we went to was this roof bar. And as we went through the bar, I saw this little kind of balcony just with one table.
Yeah.
You know, a little two-seater, and you could see the Eiffel Tower in the background. I was like, that's
perfect.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So I asked the staff to keep it free for us, and then we had a few drinks out on another one to get my courage up. And I was like, oh, just come through here and have a look at this lovely view over here.
Yeah.
And
then pulled out the most gorgeous ring.
Yeah, show me your ring.
I don't know if they can see it, but
probably for the best.
literally the part. No, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, they might come and steal it.
Oh yes. And yeah, we FaceTimed everyone straight away, didn't we? But it's so funny, it was still the most perfect proposal despite everything, but we couldn't write it. We did not leave for the majority of our trip to Paris. We were bedbound.
That was the last night. That was the night that we managed to do everything we were supposed to, didn't we?
Because other than that, we were bedbound.
Yeah,
Joe and the juice delivered to the room 3 times a day, every day, just getting ginger shots down us, anything we could to feel better.
We had so many bookings as well for the rest of the week, at gorgeous restaurants. Moulin Rouge, we had so much stuff.
We're going to go to
so much stuff planned to do, and we didn't do any of it.
We need to go
back for sure.
We need a retake because the day of the proposal was absolutely perfect. I wouldn't change it for the world. Even when we did go on the boat cruise, and you see it all lit up.
Yeah, that was gorgeous.
That was us running on adrenaline, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it was perfect.
And we got the wedding. Obviously, is happening in December. We went for a Christmas wedding.
Going for a Christmas wedding, so we're getting married this year in December. All the invites have gone out.
Yeah. And hopefully then on to a honeymoon in America.
Yeah.
So we're planning to just do a couple of weeks touring up and down. Through the south, like Texas, Houston, and
Yeah.
Austin, and then Nashville, and just kind of everywhere vibey that we can find, really. So
Yeah. So I think that's a good place to
wrap it up.
Yeah, we've pretty much rambled about anything we could.
Yeah. So if you actually made it through to the end, guys, thank you very much for listening.
Yeah.
Come back for more.
I hope we sound somewhat interesting, that you want to watch more videos, because we actually have so much planned to share, don't we?
Yeah. We should have some really good content coming out soon.
Not just horsey things as well. Like, we want to share pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So we hope you stick around and watch our next videos that come out. And
come back and see more of Pum Pum.
Yeah, he's fast asleep. But yeah, we'll see you all soon.
See you guys.
Oh. That's going in the... That's going in the...
That's going straight in my mouth. Please like and subscribe.